Atija artemba beramberja barantongo. Aturukaja gundeta. Kaja gundeta umhimbo kandeto mkatwe kabarwana munte. Twamtwara banyante. Karisaho. 1 2 1 2, we're gonna run to this year's truly Pablo Uganda's finest comedian, and I'm gonna be on tap this week. Tap that.
The people crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do, and I guess that makes us maniacs over here. This is a podcast where we deep dive into the normal and hold conversations on experiences we wouldn't normally have on tape.
And I told them a story of how we're in an aeroplane going to Madagascar. And while we're in the aeroplane experienced a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So they told the pilots told all the men to move out and push.
Mm-hmm.
We pushed the aeroplane, and when it started, did the aeroplane leave us? You know, there's a story of a father who was telling the son that, you know, during our days, they used to give us 20 shillings, it had transport, then we used to walk, carry our suitcase.
Some of them exaggerate.
And then the son said, your dad was broke, at least mine has money. You don't have to look at your misery as a measure for your child's success. I mean, you went what you went through, it was yours. Now understand, what do these people need to go through, you know? And I'm not saying that you should give them everything as they wish, but no, make them, if you have, give. If you don't have, live.
What do you do when life hands you heartbreak? Some people cry, others shut down, but not today's guest. He chose to laugh and make other people laugh while at it.
People tell me, Pablo, of all things, why did you want to become a comedian? I said, well, that's where I find my solace, that's where I find my peace, I find my comfort, I find freedom, and I find fun, because the things I studied in school used to challenge me, you know. You go to school, I remember my first chemistry lesson, they brought us stuff, everything was okay until they started saying that we have to look for solutions. I'm like, solutions deal with problems. Then they said, no, these are liquids. And then they said, equations, sodium is Na, the formula of sodium. I said, where is Na? What is sodium? Then they tell you,
Kenneth Kimuli, known to most as Pablo, has turned personal tragedy into powerful storytelling. From losing his parents at a tender age to pioneering into Uganda's stand-up comedy, he's using humor as a form of healing. Pablo has never been just about jokes. His jokes and punchlines carry purpose. His laughter, it's activism in disguise. He is a father, a husband, a mentor, and a man on a mission to show that comedy isn't just for fun, but it's a tool that can be used for social change. Today we go behind the stage lights and see what's behind the mic. This is Pablo, and this is his story. Hi, how are you?
I am very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you doing? How
Awesome,
was your week?
Awesome. My week was good. I slept till I woke up.
Yeah.
And yeah, here I am.
I'm sorry. I feel like we woke you up so early.
No.
This is yeah.
Yeah.
So I have an icebreaker. I know we had already talked about food.
Yes.
Actually, it's actually fun that we're talking about food. But if you had to describe your sense of humor as a dish, what would it be?
I think it would be chips and G-nuts.
Okay, why? Well, give us an explanation.
It's a weird combination.
Yeah.
But
Never
still,
seen anyone eat
never
it.
seen someone eat that.
No.
Oh, it's so nice. It's so nice. Yeah. Especially if the G-nuts are roasted.
Not deep fried Irish, full Irish. Chips.
Yes. Chips.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain.
Chips and G-nuts.
Yeah.
Yes. Because there are two different forms of food, but once they're in the mouth, they taste so much.
By the way, I feel like you might
Yeah,
have
it's-
something there.
yeah, it's
if you add
amazing.
chapati,
Yeah.
chips, G-nuts. Okay.
Chapati, just throw the, you eat the originals,
Yeah.
munch them, then you eat some chips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so do you feel like you're that kind of person? Like when you hear my jokes, you're like, okay, this is weird. But then when you digest it, you're like, okay.
Yeah. Some people
okay.
whose jokes you listen to the joke and you laugh tomorrow.
I hear you.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good place to start. So I have these 3 questions that I always ask everyone that comes on. They're a bit deep. I don't know if you're ready for depth. You were telling me how you were scared when someone reached out and to wish you a happy mental health awareness month, and you're like, hey, Does this man think I'm mad? But yeah, here we are deep, and since it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, I feel like I just want to have men from different walks of life, older men, mentors, and people just to speak into these young men. So who are you? Where are you coming from? And where are you going?
My name is Kenneth Kimuli, also known as Pablo. I am a journalist by profession, a Rotarian by vocation, a stand-up comedian by occupation, and a child of God by His grace. I am also a playwright, I can say,
Yes.
with a few plays to my name that have been performed at the Uganda National Cultural Center. We run a foundation with my friend called Deborah Kawe Asimwe. It's called Tibere Arts Foundation that helps emerging artists find their path. Yeah, always keep our stories alive.
Yeah.
I'm also into advocacy, especially for young people living with HIV, and seeing how to empower them. And where I'm going, that's a very good question. I think I need to buy shades because the future seems to be bright.
So bright.
Yeah, especially when I'm doing the show, Pablo and Kids, I do a show with children,
Yeah.
and when I see what they're doing, and they seem to have old heads on young shoulders, so I can say without any shadow of doubt that the future is extremely bright with our young children that are coming through. I still do comedy every last Friday of the month. I have a show at the National Theatre. And we're starting one at Lazio every Thursday. We'll be creating platforms for young people who want to do stand-up comedy and other forms of art. Oh yeah, that's what I've been up to, and that's what I'm still up to lately.
Okay, I feel like
Yes.
you've covered most of them. Maybe
Yes.
the part I didn't. Where are you coming from? I feel like
Yeah, I'm coming from home. Pretty much, I was born and raised by my maternal uncle. I was born by my parents, but my dad closed chapter when I was 10 years old. And then I started my journey to stay with my maternal uncle, the great Robert Mushagara. And so it was a huge transition because I was coming from the city.
Yes.
I was in the city. It was like, whereas most people it's rural urban migration, mine was urban
the
rural.
opposite.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was like a Jaden going to the village.
Yeah.
And so I went to Mackinnon Kindergarten. I don't think it exists now. I think it was changed. It was turned into something like Little Angel somewhere.
Yeah.
The last time I went to check on Mackinnon, my former school, I found a building. It was a suites. Then I went to Shimoni Demonstration School, which also again
Doesn't exist.
there. I went to see where it was. I found a building called the Kingdom. So I'm starting to doubt my papers.
Yeah.
And so from there, that's when my father closed chapter and crossed over. And then I started my transition. I went to a school called Boma Primary School.
Yes.
And when I reached Boma, there was so much cultural shock. Because wearing shoes wasn't, it was a thing, but it was for teachers.
Which year was this for context?
Now, this is 1988.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I reached there, and there was a teacher called Brown who told me, young man, tomorrow don't come back with shoes. I had Maradona shoes. They're
Yeah.
called Maradona. That was shortly after the World Cup where Diego Maradona, Argentina had won the World Cup.
I'll find a picture of them.
1986.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I asked the teacher why. He said, if you wear shoes, what will the headmaster do? So I was now introduced to, I call it Futsubishi, walking on your feet, Futsubishi RAV2.
Wait, it was a crime to wear shoes at
It
school.
was not a crime, but it was not advisable.
Yes.
Yes, because you'd be competing with the teachers and the head teacher.
Yeah.
And so, and remember they used to inspect our feet in the morning on assembly to see if they are clean.
Yet you don't have shoes.
Yes, that's mentoring you into cleanliness. Yeah, you
But
have to
without
walk carefully.
shoes.
Yes.
Oh, good.
And now, when bad luck chooses, even a cold potato can burn you. Now, my uncle loses his job with Banyankole Equatorial and Cooperative Union, and now we go from Mara to Shane. But
Deeper
thankfully,
into
when
the
we
village.
went to the village, and what I really loved most was being adapted into new things. I found a subject called handwork. I'd never seen it. where I used to go to the swamp and get papyrus reeds and make mats. And, it was crazy. It looked crazy. I'd never seen such a thing.
From Kampala.
Even the guys I found in the school were old. Yeah? Our conversations were different. When we are talking about Scooby-Doo cartoons, those guys are discussing the price of cement in P4. So, and then it was so interesting to gel into such a culture. But thankfully, when I was at Shimoni Demonstration School, every Friday we used to go and watch movies at the National Teachers College, Shimoni. And because there are not very many movies, they used to repeat the movies, yet we used to pay 20 shillings
To
watch, yeah. So we used to watch John Rambo, yeah. We watched First Blood, Second Blood, Third Blood, and repeated them. Then we watched Schwarzenegger, True Lies. We watched Clint. There was Clint Eastwood, I think that was his name. Yeah, he acted a movie called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. There was Roger Moore, Wild Geese, and so we had overwatched those movies to a point that we now knew the text. We knew the words. And when I went to Waranyanji Primary School, I started telling them the movies. Man.
You were the head guy.
Yeah, so for me to tell you my story, you had to make for me a mat. It was like butter trade, yes. Yeah. And I realized that the guys loved action movies. And then because there were few, I ran out of stories. But like a ninja, I had to tell them Sound of Music with action. Hey.
The storyteller edited the movie.
I had to put sound effects, like, and then Maria came, this is the problem, like Maria. Then she went, they went running, So it sounds like punches, but she's just running. And I think for me, that is the cornerstone of where comedy started from. That's where I can trace it. I can trace it as far as back as primary. Because those are the stories we used to tell, and it was more like narrative, And then I used to go for vigils, in the village, when there are vigils or weddings, and that's when I realized that there's actually what we call the dramatic license to lie. Because one time I was at a vigil, and when you're seated around the fire, and guys are roasting cassava, you feel the wood is chuckling, and then there was a sudden silence. Then out of that, some guy starts a story. He tells a story of how a guy was on a bike, a bicycle. Those days there were bicycles.
Yes.
There were no picky. So that the guy had an accident, and when he had an accident, they told him, and they told him, you need to go and see a doctor. And the guy said, I want to take back my bicycle. I'd borrowed it. And so he took the bicycle. That after putting the bicycle, the guy was wearing a hat. Now, when he was going to remove the hat to greet the owner, that the head also fell off.
Oh God!
You see the way you're feeling. That's how I felt. I'm like, no, this is not happening.
This is not true.
This is an adult, and I wanted to protest. I said, so what did I said? The guy had gone with our farm manager. Said, you keep quiet.
Yeah.
This is story. Are you there? So I kept quiet. Then another guy said, me one day, in a taxi, and we almost knocked a woman. But thankfully, the car divided itself. We joined and dodged the woman, and the car joined in front. I was like, these guys must be watching cartoons. I said that, how can that car divide itself? The guy said, keep quiet. It's not your story. Now, I didn't know that the storytelling was going around the fire. So everybody told the story, even our manager. Then they told me, you don't have a story. I said, guys, your stories are. They said, my uncle, the guy said, great, don't shame our family, you create a story. So I had to create a story. And I told them a story of how we're in an aeroplane going to Madagascar. And while we're in the aeroplane experienced a challenge. So they told the pilots told all the men to move out and push. I'm telling you, we pushed the aeroplane. We pushed the aeroplane, and when it started, did the aeroplane leave us? We chased the aeroplane. When I said that, all of the people were quiet. They were looking at me. And I said, yeah, we chased the aeroplane. Then one of them said, so what happened next? I Said, yeah, by the time it came to land, it found us at the airport waiting for our luggage. They all stood up and sang to Kutendereza, yes. So even those in the house came out thinking that maybe
Yeah.
something important has happened. We sang that song, and you know that song never ends.
Yeah.
Oh, Musai, oh, goodness. Then another brings another key. So I realized that people like, fiction, and I can say that was where I can trace the comedy. But it's also important to note that I come from a family that loves drama. For example, my maternal grandfather married my grandmother when she was 14 years just because she was the best dancer in the village. That was the reason he married her. She was the best dancer in the village.
Yeah.
My mother was the entertainment prefect at Tororo Girls' School.
It runs in the blood.
Yeah, my sister was an entertainment prefect at Ranyanji Girls. My other sister was an entertainment prefect at Chebambe School. My brother Kwezi Kaganda, that one, Inspector 002, was the first person to step in the space of theatre on a more professional level. My maternal uncle who raised me, he used to act in a group called Makondere way back in the 60s. So I can see that theatre drama is also in the blood. What people call katemba.
Oh, I love that you've talked about like how you changed the mood. I imagine this was a vigil and people were sad that they had lost someone. So maybe that's like the power of comedy. But you've talked about adjusting. I can imagine being a Jaden. I know there were some parts that were not easy. So what were some of those like
first of
challenges?
All, eating orwamba. Orwamba, I don't know if you know what is orwamba. Orwamba.
That now
I'm assuming they get blood, cow blood.
Yes.
And then there's a way they make it hard. I don't know how they do it. And then you have to eat it like meat. Yes.
But it's blood.
Yes. And then then there was what they call enkuru. They would scratch the skin of the cow hide, and then they would mix it with ghee. Man, I know that stuff. It looked weird.
And yet you're from your chips.
I was used to roll rice balls.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, enkuru. And I was like, man, what is this stuff?
Yeah.
It looked like witchcraft, And then there were different things, like at night we used to have moments of storytelling. We have an auntie called Chomtunji. She would take us to the kitchen and start telling us stories, things of Mbaganire, Tebere. That's why I got the word Tebere.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah, because
tell a story.
Continue telling your story.
Yeah.
And so we are raised in a conversational family, storytelling family. And then I also came into a culture where neighbors had power over you, even more than your parents.
Yes.
They would cane you.
Yes.
Actually, I was beaten more by our neighbors. Then. The guy finds you, you're coming from the well, just pouring water, guy slaps you. Finds you in a mango tree, lie down. So basically, I entered into a community that I didn't know had authority over me.
Yeah.
Which I found very enterprising, very nice, because that put me in line, I should say.
And I feel like it also like influenced a lot of your storytelling today, like being in the village and having all those experiences.
Yeah.
And then now you said you're a journalist. So I imagine you did journalism in school. Was that the plan originally?
That's it. Yeah, I really love journalism right from the word go. Because when I was in Shimoni, by then there was only one TV station. It was UTV, which is now UBC.
Oh, okay.
And I loved the news anchors. Bale Francis, Charles Canary Mugisha, Beatrice Okello, there was Toya Kilama. All those guys, Paul Bijurenda. I loved the way they would read the news, the anchoring. I remember by then TV had a structure, You knew the programs from Monday to Monday.
Is that when they used to switch it off?
Yeah, you'd know that at 4 a.m. that's when it starts with that thing written on Transtel Cologne. Then at around 5:30, you start playing music in the background. Did you happen to see the most beautiful girl in the world? Then at 6, you'd have the program continuity announcer coming on to announce what's going to be coming up, you know. There was one called Charlotte Sally. He had an American accent, and they'd come on and say, and you'd know that at 8, at 7, you're going to have the news in Swahili, habari, Somaji,
Yes.
Kigundu, Masagazi, and they'd always start with the president's story, Rais Yoweri Museveni. So they would say rice. In mind, I was like, this guy eats rice every day. I didn't know that it meant
That it
his
meant
excellence.
president.
Yes, like, man, this guy loves rice. And then they'd put her Maulide, and the way they would read it, there was a guy called Danny Chaze. He used to read it in a very musical way, you know. So I would say, Maulide Gaga, and I got some Danny Chaze. You know, like, it was so musical, it had a rhythm. And so I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And my mom used to bring newspapers. I loved reading newspapers. And then we had my mom's friend, Teddy Sezicheye. He had a magazine called The Confidential. So they used to bring in like booklets. So and I loved reading. So I loved news. I loved listening to World Panorama by Munira Ali. Before that, there was a lady called Shamim Kenkwanzi. And I was so attached to news, and my dad noticed that I loved news. That even when I went to high school, I was more interested in starting a newspaper for the school.
The school newspaper.
And the symptoms persisted when I went to university. We started a newspaper.
For the university.
Yeah, it was called The Veritas. And then we left it there. When I graduated in mass media, I went to work with the Monitor
Yes.
as a freelance journalist. And I can gladly say that at least it sharpened my understanding of the media, both broadcast and tele and electronic. And I was also privileged to work on radio for 5 years as a presenter. Actually, that's why I got the name Pablo on radio. The programs director didn't like my name Kenneth. So it didn't sound funky. It wasn't,
It wasn't.
And so she gave me the name Mendez. And so when I went on radio, I was like, yo, this is yours truly Mendez. Give me a call on
Ugandan Mendez.
0414-34-2020. And guess what? The first caller said, hello, Mandazi. And so I had to switch names. I said, I don't have this.
No,
name.
Mendez won't work.
I'm about to come donuts.
Yes.
And so she changed and said, okay, I'm going to give you Ricardo. I said, I can't
Wait, what was
pronounce
with
it.
her and the Mexican names?
She was reading a book that had those names.
Oh, okay.
And then she settled for Pablo.
Yeah.
Now, around that time in 2003, that's when we were doing comedy with Theatre Factory. And so people used to listen to the radio, would say, but you sound like Pablo. I'm like, yeah, I'm the guy who does the Pablo thing. They're like, oh, so you're Pablo. And that was the birth of Pablo on the entertainment scene and the last funeral rite of Kenneth in the theatre world. So it came up.
Yeah.
And I've gone ahead to write also a book called Everything About Nothing. It's a collection of fictitious stories with an element of truth in there, because I tend to look at some of the things that I experienced growing up, and then you just add some icing, you sugarcoat it in a way and makes it more dramatic.
Yeah. Okay, where can we find this book?
That's a very good question. Dairy Cultural Center,
Yes.
and the beauty that the book is for free as long as you pay 40,000.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's a very nice book. We're working on the second edition as well.
Okay, so you've talked about your writing work, and I imagine it influences how you do comedy now, because I want to get into that. I know also you have the Rock Point time, the script writing for Rock Point. What was that like? One of the best shows ever.
Rock Point
I feel
256.
like, yeah.
256, I was fresh from university, and by then we're acting with Theatre Factory. And so the programs there, the director of the production liked what we were doing, because remember it was in 4 languages. It was in English, Luganda, Luo, 4 Rs and Ateso. There were 5. And so they needed somebody who could understand bits and pieces of all. Now I was privileged that growing up I passed through a number of hands. So sometimes when we'd get holidays, I would go to Kilembe in Kasese. And when I was in Kilembe, I had to play with the young Bakonjo. So I ended up learning Lukonjo and Rutoro. Then I had to go to Masindi sometimes, and I had to now learn Runyoro, because you're dealing with those people in Europe.
Yeah.
I had some time in Kamuli. I ended up learning Lusoga.
Hey.
Yeah,
Linguist.
and most of my friends were people from up north. So they needed somebody who had an idea on these kind of languages. You know that song that says, "God bless the broken road that led me straight to you." So those moments seemed like broken moments,
But then
but they had where they were leading me to. So they made me, when Deborah Asimwe Kawe went for further studies in the US, they made me the productions director, meaning that I had to coordinate the different plays. And boy, I enjoyed Rock Point 256.
yeah.
It was aired on 21 radio stations.
Nice.
I recorded in 5 languages. And oh boy.
What are some of your highlights from that time?
One most memorable moment was I was in Soroti when Voice of Teso, and we had just aired the drama. I'd gone there to train them. And while we were there, a lady came with sugar and soap with some nuts, and she had brought them for one of the characters in the drama called Blessing. And she said, "I brought these things for Blessing. I've seen how I've listened in, and she's suffering a lot. I couldn't stand it. So please, I brought her some soap, some sugar, and some nuts. Let her start from here." And to me, that was a defining moment because it meant that the story was believable.
It was so real for someone out there.
For someone out there, and gave us the courage to move on and continue writing the script.
Yeah, and what about like the lowlights? Were there any lowlights?
Yes, especially when you would have to record and some of the actors don't show up.
Yeah.
And yet you have a deadline. It was, and then you have now to substitute the person.
Yes.
Because the person has gone. It had to, changing the roles, changing the actors was very, very, very difficult. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then having actors come in, say, you know what, Rock Point is popular and people think we are earning a lot. How can you increase our pay?
Yes.
Yet you're not the one dealing with and you understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
But there's nothing much you can do because your hands are tied.
Also, what can I do? Yes. Okay. I think let's now talk about Stand Up Uganda and winning that experience.
Well, Stand Up Uganda was very, very interesting because originally I didn't want even to be part of it. Yeah, because when Mnet came to Uganda and the search for the funniest person.
This is after Rock Point for the time.
It was ongoing.
Okay.
Yeah, Rock Point started in 2004.
Yes.
Stand Up Uganda was 2009. So it had already been ongoing. So when they came, they put up the call for those who want to be part of the competition. And my friend Julius Lugaya asked me if I wanted to be part of it. I said, no. He told me, just go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing to lose. If you
lose.
fail, I said, but we already started. I said, no, just go for it. So I go for Stand Up Uganda at La Bonita. And there were over 200 people
who had
come to audition.
Yeah.
Yes. So I also audition, and I get into it.
Do you remember your audition?
Yeah, it was okay.
You
there was
guys
a
do what
gentleman
you do?
called Al Projas and Joe Parker from South Africa,
Yeah.
established comedians in their country, and Abe Muchiwi and Kaya Kajimu, who were on the panel. It was nice, it was, friendly. But they wanted only 20 people.
From the 200?
Yes, just 10%.
Yeah, 10%.
Yes, and so that gave birth to the likes of Tichampamire, Herbert Mendo, Salvador,
Yes.
Alex Mohanji. We had the number of people, others moved on, they didn't continue with the plight. There was Emma Sebachije who continued with it, and others went on to do other things, But the 20 of us were now taken to Mosa courts for better training, and they indoctrinated us with the full dose of stand-up comedy. And so once the competition started, we knew the structure of what they want, and that's what made the competition very memorable. Yes.
And then the moment you won, what did that mean for you at that moment?
Oh yeah, when we were zeroed down to 4 people, and so I didn't know how to feel because
Did
on
you
the
even
last
think you were
day-
doing?
I was just enjoying myself.
Yeah.
I remember very well. I don't remember saying I need to win this thing. I was just enjoying the process. And so on the last day, we had to come up with our last comedy. And I came up with a very nice set, which struck the judges. But mainly it was about people voting. And Daniel
people had to
O'Mara
like
was
you.
the second runner-up. Salvador was the first runner-up. And I was the winner. So they gave me $10,000 and the bragging rights as king of stand-up comedy. That's what they said. It was
Yeah.
their word. So, and it was a good feeling.
What's the first thing you bought?
Was it ice cream?
Really?
I don't remember. I think I ate ice cream.
$10,000. How
You tell
much
me,
was that?
after getting that money, it was 23 million at that time.
Yeah, but that was a lot of money
Yeah,
at
it
that time.
was.
Because I
Yeah,
remember
it
500
was.
shillings was
Yeah,
a lot.
by then an acre of land was 100 by 100 was 15 million. So
Yeah.
it was and so it was really good money, and I can say that we invested it and we are still enjoying the fruits.
Really?
from
That's
it.
nice. That's nice. You
Yes.
didn't splurge and...
No. The wedding meetings had to wait.
Oh, is that the same time you were getting married also?
Nope. I got married the year after, 2010,
Okay.
and none of that
Okay.
was used for the wedding.
Nice. No, we'll get into
Yes.
that. But I want to talk now about the evolution of your comedy after the win. Was there that? Because you talked about
Yes.
training.
What happened is that by then I was acting with Theatre Factory,
Yeah.
and when I was done, when I won, Joe Parker
Now
told me
everyone
that,
knows you. You're a big guy.
Yes, Joe Parker told me, you have the burden of raising the stand-up comedy flag, and said you have to get a space and you start doing just strictly stand-up comedy, and that gave birth to the Pablo Live show.
Yes.
And our first show was on the 27th of July 2009 at a place called Open House. I remember the day and very well because it was on the 27th, and we had only 27 people who came to watch the show.
Only 27.
Yes, it was like that
But that's
Bush-
memorable.
Like that war story of the president,
Yeah,
27
guns.
There's something about 27 in Uganda.
Yeah.
And so it started at Open House. We had to find ways of now, because people didn't understand stand-up comedy.
I can
They thought that these were
imagine.
just mad guys who just tell weird stories.
Yeah.
And that's how we started. Honestly. And also mentored other comedians who came on board. The first ever comedy duo of Bob and Simiyu was birthed there. Many of them came up and got an opportunity to be on the platform.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you said you got married shortly after that time, and I want to know how your marriage has changed you, not only like as a man, but also as a storyteller, as a comedian. Did your jokes change? Like how did that?
I think being good at one made me better at the other. Being good at comedy made me better at the relationship, and being good at the relationship made me better at comedy, because in there was content.
Yes, I can
There's
imagine.
a lot of content because
Yeah.
you're not used to staying with somebody,
Yeah.
and so there was a lot of content in there, and also adapting,
Yeah.
and then now we are understanding that it's no longer just about you, it's about family. Yes.
Yeah, you're now not the only one.
Yes, so it was crazy.
Which brings us then to fatherhood, and what it has taught you about life. I know the
Yeah.
boys seem to be taking up the same path. Yeah.
My children are very interesting characters.
Yes.
First of all, they have a high sense of humor. They tend to have old heads on young shoulders,
Yeah.
and raising them has been an enjoyable journey,
Yeah.
I can say. Now that they're entering the adolescence, I don't know where the twist will be.
More
but
more content for sure.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I find that they have added more value to my life and the way I look at things. I now look at them differently because the lifestyle has changed. What we used to do is not. We used to make balls in banana fibers, babies, in banana fibers.
And for them, they are
And
on
now they're making
cocomelon.
apps.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah, we used to make car wires,
yeah.
make cars out of wires. But now these guys are making, they're into robotics, they're into. So times have changed, and you need also to adjust and adapt to their desires.
Because I wonder, there's this. I don't know, in my generation, we just have this whole thing going, where your parents are always telling you things like, me in my time, I used to walk to school, for you're complaining because you're taking my campus. Do you like keep reminding your children about like your childhood because you want them to know that it's a reality? Or are you just more invested in them adapting to this life?
I can
that's
only refer to it if it's going to add value, not to demean.
Yeah.
Or, there's a story of a father who was telling the son, that during our days they used to give us 20 shillings, it had transport, then we used to walk, carry our suitcase.
Some of them exaggerate.
And then the son said, your dad was broke, at least mine has money. So
yeah.
you don't have to look at your misery as a measure for your child's success. I mean, you went what you went through, it was yours. Now understand, what do these people need to go through, And I'm not saying that you should give them everything as they wish, but no, make them, if you have, give. If you don't have, live. Let them understand.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the only stories I tell my sons are if they are escapades and they want to laugh,
Oh, and do they find you funny, by the way, or do they think you're just
do.
dad?
They always tell me that you're funny.
And then also, how was that? At what point did they realize that this is dad, but then there's also Pablo, who's like this comedian, and like when did they realize like, oh, dad is not just daddy, like everyone knows daddy?
There's a fine line between Pablo and Kenneth Kimuli.
Yeah.
So they get to know when they're dealing with Pablo, and they get to know when they're dealing with Kenneth Kimuli. Kenneth Kimuli is their father.
Yeah.
Pablo is the one who supports the father. To earn a living and to make ends meet.
Yeah.
And so they have steadily learned that, and they know where the rubber meets the road.
Okay, that's good. Okay, I want us to have a quick fire round just to break up a bit. How far have we gone now?
37 minutes.
37. Okay, so it's just some fun, rapid questions. Just a few. Just a few. So, who's your favorite comedian? It could be local or global.
I like Steve Harvey.
Oh, okay. Any why, or it's just you just like him?
His humor is thoughtful. It's not just for laughs, but it gives you an opportunity to think, and it dwells into our everyday lives.
True. Okay, and then if you weren't a comedian, what would you be doing?
I think I would be a cobbler.
Why?
I loved shoes, We had an old man in my village called Chigate. He used to repair shoes. And every time I would see those shoes, they'd look like, they're all his.
Oh, so you wanted to have many shoes.
When I was young, I always wanted to become a cobbler.
Yeah.
But I think I would be 100% in journalism. Yes. That's what I studied.
True. Okay, so what's one Ugandan stereotype that always gets a laugh? Like, is it the stepmom, the grand, like this? What's that stereotype Ugandan character that always gets you a laugh every time? For sure.
That's a good question. I like the way they ask questions. They end with the 5 W's and 1 H. You're going where?
Yeah.
You did it how?
Oh, yes. Our English, our questions.
Yeah. So I find that
they're like statements.
in Uganda where you find such stuff.
By the way, only Uganda. What's one
the only
joke?
place where you have to look left and right before crossing a one-way. You're not
Oh,
sure
yes.
the border guy.
Oh, yeah, because the border guy
can just show up.
He can just show up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what's one joke that you regret telling and why?
In 2000, I don't remember, it must have been the early 2000s.
Yeah.
The First Lady of Uganda had just been appointed the Minister of Karamoja.
Yeah.
But before that, there was a gentleman called Honorable Captain Tom Butime, who had been given that position and he turned it down.
Oh.
And for reasons best known to him. But you see, from a comic point of view, I looked at it from the stereotypical tribal approach. And I said, you know, this man is from Toro. And these people are laid back. They are afraid of the naked truth. You know,
Yeah, they're very...
the naked truth in Karamoja, people are naked.
Yeah,
So I said, we couldn't handle.
he wouldn't
And
handle.
then I went ahead to say that, you see, it's good that they took the first lady to northern Uganda.
Yeah,
And that's after I just talked about the naked truth.
yeah.
And I said, because Karamoja
Ooh.
is an acronym for Karamojong's remodeling all Manyanta organizing Janet's arrival. And people laughed. Everything was okay until the show ended and I was in the foyer of National Theatre. And two guys approached me
Oops.
in checkered coats.
Ooh.
One with a heavy Western Ugandan accent.
Mm.
And he was speaking in the local language. But he said, the Pablo, you know, the show was nice, but there are some things you should not talk about. So I don't ever want to hear you talk about that Karamoja thing again. I hope they don't watch this podcast. Like, I don't want to talk about you read these things, read these things.
Yeah.
You read these things. Wahura. So I was like, yo, why?
Yeah.
But I found it to be a funny joke. But
It was. But those were the only consequences, nothing else.
yeah, no.
Okay.
It didn't go beyond that.
Okay.
So
okay.
from that day, I stopped cracking political jokes.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't like political jokes. Most of them get elected, you know. So, yeah. So basically,
You have to refrain. Okay, so who's a dream guest you'd want to interview on your show? I know you mostly have kids on
I
there.
think I would like to interview Barack Obama.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. Why?
I think he has lived a full circle at a young age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, he has tasted what it means to be an immigrant, what it means to be a mixed race.
Yeah.
I think he has a story to
True.
tell.
First black president.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So,
Okay.
you know, he has, I think I would love to interview him, you know, and know more about.
Okay. So let's get into mentorship. I know you do a lot of that. Why is
Yes.
that very important for you right now?
Because we have to set the right precedence, you know, especially for theatre.
Yeah.
We are being out-competed by technology and other forms of art that are coming in. So
Yeah.
the only way to progress is through mentorship. You know, get the young people who are passionate about theatre, empower them,
Yeah.
and then create spaces for them where they can perform. So that's one of the things I'm extremely passionate about, not only just for theatre but also for comedy. We started what we call the comedy clinic,
Okay.
where we get young people interested into comedy and empower them with our experience and the things we have been privileged to have studied
Yeah.
and learned, and pass on the baton, because in future we will be judged by
Based
what we have
on the-
left.
True.
Yes.
Because I feel like a lot of like the OGs kind of lay back and they've now made their money. They retire somewhere and they're taking care of their kids. So it's important to like. But what's like that one lesson that you would give like any young comedian? What lesson would you want them to walk away with when they meet you?
There shouldn't be a rush for fame, but enjoy the craft. Because if your ultimate aim is you want to be famous, yes, it will come, but what will you do with it? How you deal with it, especially if it comes when you are not ready for it. So for me, the most important thing would be master the craft, enjoy it, success will find you.
By the way, speaking of fame and all that, how have you balanced that? Has it been easy to kind of, I know some people can get lost in it and lose themselves. How have you like kept grounded?
Not forgetting who you are is number one. You don't have to live beyond your means
True.
or go by people's opinion. If you are going by public interest, then you will successfully fail. If you are eating huge commando, I mean, if you're a person who loves your Rolex,
Yeah.
will you stop eating it because maybe you can upgrade the Rolex to Yuga roll or something,
Yeah.
but others didn't fear to go there. I think it's about keeping your friends, your genuine friends close to you, And it's not about living a life of a blank check, where you're free that even if you write any amount on it,
Yeah.
you're still comfortable about it. So, yeah.
I like that. Okay, so let's talk about the different shows you've done. There's, the variety show, Pablo Live. Just what's your vision with like all these concepts?
When I started the Pablo
show?
Live show, it was pretty much just for stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
But as the times have evolved, we have seen different forms of art that have come in, which also have humor in them, like spoken word, poetry. And we felt that we need to embrace some of these and also bring them into, or give them a platform on stage to also perform. And that's how the variety show came. We graduated from just only being stand-up comedy, but also allowing in this other
the new forms of art. How are Ugandans responding to that?
Very well, I can say, because variety is a spice of life. So if you don't like the comedian,
ventriloquist doing his thing, and I was like, Ugandans must be like, they've never seen Ugandans do this. We only see that on America's Got Talent.
You see those roller skaters, you see them doing magical things.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only person we haven't yet brought is the witch doctor.
And you would think that's our...
because they have their own craft.
Yeah.
Their craft is called witch. So, we want to practice it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so tell us when we can watch your shows. I want these guys to be tapped in.
Thank you, Tina, for that. Every last Friday of the month at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
We have a show at the National Theatre every last Friday of the month, apart from December. Then I have Pablo and Kids every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Only NBS TV always.
Okay, and then where can people follow your work? You as you?
Oh, I have my website. That's pablo.ug. And then I also have Facebook. That's Pablo.
We'll put them up.
And then Instagram, Pablo Kimuli. Twitter, Pablo Kimuli.
Yeah. Okay, but then also, should we be expecting any new projects? What should we expect from you?
This year is pretty much. I'm doing tours. We'll be going to Canada.
Okay, that's interesting.
Some tours. So the home-baked projects are mostly the Pablo Live show, and the Pablo and Kids show, and the Lazio one. There's no major outstanding one.
Yeah.
But hopefully next year there's something we're trying to do. It's gonna be a comedy but musical.
Oh,
yeah,
that's interesting. I've been wanting to see Ugandans do like Broadway type of stuff.
At least we have tried. We had Phantom of the Opera recently. Yeah. There was Merchant of Venice. There was My Fair Lady. So
that's interesting.
I think we're getting there.
Yeah, I wish I was a kid now.
Now?
So that I could, because by the time these guys are growing up, they're going to find when it's already like normalized.
Yes,
before, when you wanted to do entertainment, it was like, what's wrong with you? You want to just become spoiled.
Yes. It was called MD Dimsiru Daradara.
Right, you
but
see?
Now it is Mugaga Daradara.
How the tables have turned.
Yes.
So yeah, our final question is a bit reflective. If you could speak to your younger self, before all the loss, before the spotlight, what would you say to him today?
I'll tell him to focus and stay away from the things of the world.
That's deep.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll tell him. Because there are some things we did, and ask myself, what were we up to? I think I'd give him a good... I wouldn't change the path of comedy. Yeah. But I'll just advise him, you know what? Stay away from... poisonous spaces.
Yeah. True. Okay. I love that. Is there any way you want to sign out? Any special way you want
I think first of all I want to give flowers to you. Thank you for hosting me on the show.
Thank you for coming.
And to the person who's viewing this, I'd like to thank the viewer, because that's the most expensive gift they can give you, their time. Yeah. And also to remind you that enjoy your life. Don't take life seriously. You want to get out of it alive.
You're not going to make it.
Yeah, so enjoy your life. Yeah. Save, spend, but most importantly, be happy. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Pablo, for coming. Welcome. Thank you for showing us that even in the darkest moments, you can laugh. There's always...
Yeah, you see, comedy is a funny way of being serious. We address serious issues in a very lighter way. And also it takes less muscles to smile than to frown. So
Yeah.
To keep healthy, just keep laughing.
Skincare.
Yes.
Even a skincare routine.
Yes.
But yeah, guys, follow him as well and make sure you attend his shows and subscribe. You've given us your time, you've reached here. Just subscribe, give us a follow, and share this video with someone you think might like it. Maybe an upcoming comedian who will find this very valuable. Even put on your post notification on. Today we are at Ndere Cultural Center. We've also partnered with Keja Film House who have brought you this episode. But yeah, till next time, bye. We're out. We're out. Bye.